Rise of the Demon Lords, the Aegis of Merlin series, Book 9, written by James E. Wisher, narrated by Joe Hempel. 1. The first thing Conryu noticed when he appeared on the Arcane Academy's front lawn was the scent of fresh mown grass. He smiled and took a deep breath. Living on the floating island, he never bothered with any sort of landscaping. The main building loomed over him, silhouetted by the setting sun. He'd arrived a little early, but not that much. The last thing he wanted was to sit around waiting for the graduation ceremony to begin. "You're surprised to be here again, Master," said Prime, the floating demon book that was also his familiar. Prime's leather cover had split, revealing a mouth filled with fangs. It looked big enough to bite someone's face off, and Conryu had threatened to have him do exactly that on several occasions. It was always amusing to see people's faces when he did. "Of course, my days of former classes are long past. Besides, I usually bring trouble along with me, and I don't want to cause problems for Dean Blaine." He released the Staff of All Elements and willed it into a pocket dimension that would keep it handy but out of sight. Not that he expected any trouble. After saving the Alliance from the survivors of Atlantis, he'd struck a deal with the President. No one would hunt him or try and control him, and in exchange, he agreed to lend a hand should any major magical threat appear. It was basically the same deal Conryu had wanted in the first place, but he didn't point that out. No sense rubbing the man's nose in it. He turned toward the slightly smaller 5-story dorm and set out. The building still seemed far too modern for a magic school. He remembered when he first arrived expecting castles and towers, only to find modern steel and glass buildings. Pretty disappointing. Not that he cared anymore. All that mattered now was that he'd get to see Maria, Kelsey, and his mother. He'd worn his usual uniform of jeans and gray t-shirt. Since he basically hadn't attended any classes during his senior year and few enough his junior year, he hardly thought he'd earned enough credits to graduate. He was here for Maria. She'd worked so hard it would have been an insult to her if he didn't show up. He jogged up the steps and pushed the front door open. The entry hall was empty, though he smelled something delicious cooking in the nearby kitchen. He'd skipped lunch and his mouth watered. "Conryu!" He turned just in time to catch the petite form of Dean Blaine as she leapt into his arms and hugged him. He hadn't even sensed her presence, which was a testament to her skill as a wizard. As was her habit, the dean looked like a 13-year-old girl in a pale blue robe with blonde pigtails. He let her hang on for a moment before lowering her to the floor. "Dean Blaine. Pretty quiet."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?